I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Wow, good morning. Where do I begin? Where do I start? How does this get going? How do we and how did we find ourselves in this place? Before I go off on a rant in this monologue, let me do what is right by pausing and giving thanks for life. We are alive. In spite of all the stress, troubles, trials, and tribulations. We are here and we ought to give thanks for life. Ought to give thanks for our families, our loved ones. Remember that there's a creator who made you and he made me. It says, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, and stands in the ways of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his laws he meditates day and night. And he shall be like a tree. Thank you, Jason. Let me see if I can fix that. Planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth his fruit in his due season. His leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth, he shall prosper in it. Alright? Let's see if we can adjust that, Jason, and sort out the sound, because I want you to hear me clearly today. Alright? Big up one and all. Welcome to all the persons on the chat. And this next day when our hope of better management of the product football that is close and dear to our hearts seem like it has hit another snag, a bad place, a disappointing place, a place that most of us thought that we probably would not have been. For recently, we all felt like we had turned a corner, that we have paid the toll and we were on a new road. We felt like the book was destroyed and thrown away. A new semester had started and a new book was purchased. We had hope that the old house was completely torn down and a brand new structure was erected in a new place. But here we are again, full circle. People casting aspersions, innuendos, lack of accountability, failure to admit where we have missed the ball, failure to admit where we have gotten it wrong, and no clear desire to do what is necessary to bring forth meaningful change. Have we actually made progress? Or have we just changed faces with everyone operating in the same spaces? I won't be long. I'm going to keep this for an hour because I have some other things to do. I'm going to open the lines as well as early as possible to facilitate people calling in. But let me get to the meat of the matter. And I hope my friend, one of the members of the community, I call us independent content creators. All right, because we independently create content. All right, and that content is and has spread far and wide. So we are content creators. I hope that there's no problems with the internet either as we seek to get into this. So I got I think someone was trying to call me this morning. I wasn't able to watch the show on Ryan LFT where Roy Simpson, don't know if he called in or Ryan called in, but there was a conversation and there was a level of arrogance. I am going to tell you what happened and you listen to me. That is the impression that I got. I saw and I heard like an unwillingness to admit that things could have been done better and done different. I hear the suggestion that admissible evidence can be provided. How crazy that is. And I'd love that evidence to be presented. And here's what we want to know. Since there is a 15-day window when letters must be sent, number one, when was Reading first sent a letter? When did they receive it for the release of Connor Boyce Clark for the 2 games against Trinidad? Was it sent on the 5th of March, before the 5th of March, and or after the 5th of March? Question number one. There was an admittance that other communication was sent because the club clearly stated that they would not have released the player. So the second question is, when was the second letter sent for the release for the Mexico game? And when did the club respond? Because the player the player the player was named in the squad. Why? Listen to me, people. Why having not get any correspondence from the club, according to what was said on the interview, was the player named in the squad? Here's a big thing. Is the general manager and team manager for the Jamaica national football team suggesting that the player declined to come and play, the said player who was eager to come and play in a friendly game, in so much that an invitation was sent to him for a friendly game. And here it comes now to the official game, and the same player had personal reasons not to come and play. I will play the fool. But one thing I know is that I will not be played by a fool. It will not happen. All I heard is the voice of Shaggy ringing in my ears. It wasn't me. What happened to Mikel Antonio? It wasn't me. For the Gold Cup, when he was out on vacation, it wasn't me. The Bobby Reed situation, when he was in Jamaica and was wondering why I wasn't called for the Nation League and all of that, and all information came up. Oh, do you have the dates? Listen, until the general manager can unequivocally and unapologetically state emphatically that he has not blundered on any arrangements from World Cup campaign to this point. No one needs to present to him any dates and any timeline. You can't ask us for accountability information. We ask you. Don't ask me for dates. You present to us facts that none of these things happen.
Uh, Past
But
the six.
because we have information that the information last night about the goalkeeper was not accurate. Go ahead, Ketel.
Past the six. I want you to repeat that opening line there. I will not be played by a fool. Cause you sound like cartel. But Mannings, I just wanted to interject in your soliloquy and just add just a flashback. Do we recall that there were a group of players at Gatwick Airport unable to take their flight when one Mikel Antonio had to take out a black credit card and pay for 6 business class tickets? You recall that one?
Of course.
Because there are some things that happen, that they were resolved in another way, and then we don't remember that. Do you remember that?
There are players who
Or
went
I'm asking, who was the person when Michael Antonio asked to be reimbursed that made a offensive remark? Like, you're rich already, you don't need it. Right? Just asking, just asking. And there was another situation in dealing with. I'm just talking about the ones that may have.
situation.
Pardon me.
Amari Bell,
Oh, yes, 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 yes. My God, Amari Bell.
Crack, you're on the stream, right? Cranky is actually on.
You've gone, you've gone, you've gone. Your volume has turned down a little. I don't know what happened.
Okay, you hear me now?
No, no, not as before.
Okay,
Turn up your sound.
all right. So Cranky's on the line, right?
Oh,
So
maybe that's right. But just go on Amari Bell, and I will hit my mute button so we can hear Cronky. But people don't remember the Amari Bell. Casey Palmer. Casey Palmer, who had to pay. Was it he had to pay for
when
the
he left,
COVID
when he
test?
left because of the COVID test, and
Yes,
he didn't, he
yes,
was upset and didn't go back because he didn't want to use his money to pay. But
yes. So,
let's see.
so was this the person who told the players that they had to pay for their own COVID tests? So I just.
When they
But
go
the
to
Amari
Saudi
Bell, can you
Arabia,
just quickly just rehash the Amari Bell? I'll mute my mic. Mr. Cronk is on
yeah.
the
So
line.
let Cranky speak and then we get into
So,
it.
so my name's, I'm not going to stay long.
Go
I'm
ahead.
actually on Arizona at a retreat, so I'm getting ready to run to a meeting. But I'll say this, that I think after a while, when you have so much mishaps, which in aggregate and sometimes individually are detrimental to the program, you have to advocate for change. You don't want people to lose their jobs in life because people to make a living. But at some point, when incompetence becomes the norm, you have to advocate for change. So I'm glad that we have the new media in place, which are really working to. Sometimes the new media make mistakes and don't operate probably as they should and don't understand sometimes protocol. But I think they're bringing to life a number of things which have been hidden, don't get the visibility that they should. They're making them more prominent. They're spending a lot of time on them, and they're bringing them to the general public. And it helps to when you light up these things and they become so apparent. At some point, I'm sure it will engender change. You would hope. So I hope that Dennis was coming to help to alleviate some of these problems, to enhance the program, to move the program forward. My hope is that he has the autonomy to make some of these changes because this person in this role, his time has expired in the role. I'm sorry. When you have a litany of mishaps that have occurred year after year, and then you don't even have the credibility to say, you
God,
know what, or you don't own it. So you're not accountable. You have no accountability. You pass the buck. Then at some point you have to say, you know what, enough is enough. You gotta go.
yeah, I'm saying
You gotta go.
this is
And so, man, here's the thing. It's not only us as fans who are just really aghast at all of this, man. The players, and we keep saying in this part of the world that, oh, they only want to come, they're England rejects and they're this and they're that. We now have younger players with ability who are not England rejects who want to be part of the program. And this will dissuade you from coming management. Why would you want to come to something which is so unorganized when you have England, which is so organized, so first class? You have to travel long distance. You have to make allowances. You have to accept that this is not first class or first world they're going to be involved in, but you are committed. And then you have somebody's pushing you away. Why would you want all that pain, frankly? Right? Why would you want to put yourself in that situation if you're those young kids with the capability? When we have a lot of Jamaican public talking about, well, they're England reject and local versus foreign, and these players say they want to play for Jamaica at a young age, and we're not doing everything that we can to accommodate them to want to be part of this community. It's very disturbing. It's very upsetting. You just throw your hands up because as fans, we don't have the power to really affect change. but we have the power to affect change, and we should utilize that power as best as we can. Somebody run Manning's band,
Yeah, man.
but I hope Cataract, bless up, Father. Have a good day.
Coach Minzy is here.
Yeah, bless up, Sir
Bless up,
Cranky.
Menzi.
Big up yourself, Cranks.
Yeah, bless up, Menzi. Bless.
Cataract and Mannings, big up.
Yeah, man, big up. Marins, I wanted to ask you something because somebody just WhatsApp me and reminded me of something. I just want to put on this table because we're looking for persons and things. Was a request for 5 critical players to be fast tracked by the High Commission in London made. The High Commission agreed that this was in the urgent national interest and asked for, what happened to them bite man? Asked for it to be sent in writing on a JFF letterhead so that they could reasonably move the 5 players to the top of the pile. And this communique took over 2 weeks, even though the High Commission themselves, they wrote the letter and said, all you have to do is sign it, put it on a letterhead, and send it back to us. So you don't have to write the letter. The letter was written in the way that it should, right?
Yeah.
And was this the person that sent the letter to the wrong place, to the office of the Prime Minister, rather than the Jamaican High Commission in England? And was this the person that omitted the names of 3 critical players whose paperwork was all together and only put the names of the 2 players who had difficulties with their documentation? So in effect, nobody not get them appointment for citizenship and passport. That's the latest one coming to my news desk. And so I wonder if the manager could shed some light on the embassy gate. And one more thing, Marines. Did this gentleman say to someone that he spoke to the senior person in the High Commission, and that person has indicated she has never spoken to this gentleman?
All right. Those are some good questions for whenever he turns up again, because I don't think he's going to come back out. But Coach Minzy, listen, like I want to just ask you, Coach Minzy, about the Kanaya Boys Club. This is somebody who came for under 20. You know, people, do not tell me that unless there is injury, Kanaya Boys Clark opted not to be a part. If he's not injured, you're not here.
Yeah, man, we hearing it now. It come up
We're hearing it
now. Yeah, man, it come up now.
You need a mixer, you need a mixer.
Let me tell you this, people. If Kanaya Boys Clark is not injured, no, there's nothing at all about no personal reason. Manning's man telling you that.
I agree with the Mannings.
I have pictures with the players. I picked them up at the airport and sat with them, had dinner with them. Nothing like that.
Mannings, you're 100% correct. Let me just give a fact. Coach, just let me give one fact and then may I shut up. Mannings, for the Trinidad and Tobago game, I have even deeper information. And I just want to remind some people something. Kanaya Boyce Clark's mother works for a civil rights law firm that is dealing with the Windrush generation deportation issues. She is a civil rights legal person. She believes deeply in Jamaica. He grew up in that household. So there's no turning them. But I want to say this. The Trinidad request was sent to Reading FC. They rejected it because it was outside of a FIFA window. No communication was sent to the player at that time. The player has been reliably informed. The player said, had he been told that he was invited to represent Jamaica's senior team in 2 friendlies, he would have indicated to the club his desire to come to Jamaica and not to turn down the request. So then the opposite thing happened now. It's not that he received an invitation, man. He received an email with a plane ticket to travel. And when he responded to that to ask, okay, where is everything else? My club doesn't know anything. So it's not that an invitation was sent to him. He received a ticket in his email and then realized that the club did not receive a request for a release of the player. And after, coach, I wanted to say exactly what a release means, but I just want to share that.
Let me pick up from where Qatar just signed off. This is the information I got. After the youth confront them, asking them if the club knows about it, and he went to the club and asked the club if the club knows about it, that is when the federation try to send the letter, and then it already passed the time. So the youth opted not to go because he no want to leave and him club no know. So when they talk about personal reasons, that is the understanding I am getting. So this personal reason thing, it is because the club never get the thing on time. So don't make the people them fool, you know.
But not only that.
Them send it, but it late.
Why would the coach on Monday, Coach Minzy, this is what I wanted to explain to me. On Monday morning at 11, the coach is naming a squad and name Connor Boyce Clark in it. You know what that says? The coach was told that the player was going to be there.
Because they send itinerary, everything for you player, you know. And the club no know.
They send a ticket.
Yeah.
Up to Monday morning at 11. So obviously, this manager did not have any communication with the coach about where the process is. Here's why I know. Because the initial invitation for the player to come to the game was a conversation with the coaches, not with the team manager for the Trinidad game. It was the coaches who called the young players and asked them if they would be interested. You follow me? So the coaches expected that due diligence would be followed. This is not the only player, I know.
No, I think he expected that due diligence management to put no fancy word for the pulpit. He may expect that man are going to do them job. Do them work, but them get paid for. We could just broke it down because some Jamaican there and everybody there foreign. Man, he expected that man are going to do them work, where them are collect them pay for.
So here's the other thing I want to ask now, Coach Minzy.
And there's one more player in the scandal. My fax machine are ring red hot. But go on, Marines.
No, yeah, man. We get into it. Here's what I want to ask my Coach Minzy. No. And if you get to talk to the manager or Ryan, whomever, ask him who is responsible for paying for that ticket.
You better have a black card like Antonio.
I mean, who responsible to pay for the ticket? No must JFF pay for the ticket.
Yeah, but it needs to surcharge out and packet.
But hold on the cataract. But you see how quick the man called Ryan show last night to clarify, and then when the clarification, he might go around the point. He has not said when he was speaking to Ryan that they gave a second invitation, because he was making reference to the first one through Trinidad. All him talk about the youth get the invitation. The club get the invitation late. And these persons normally call you because people are send them a link to a show for them know what go on. Because me get a call this morning too, you know. Yeah, man, me get a call this morning. But
That's not a fact.
we not hear about things, man. Me get a call this morning.
They have a fax machine there, right? Just so now. So a whole time fax machine. Was an invitation letter to go for Caden Rodney at Charlton. And that letter sent to Charlton. But the player that they at Charlton is on loan somewhere else. Me just ask. Did the manager know that Caden Rodney is not a Charlton Athletic? He is on loan at another club, and that is the club that would have had to agree to him coming to the Trinidad and Tobago friendly.
Man, they not have a clue, Cataract.
TDM in the position that we need, Mannings.
Well, my big question is this in a Cataract. Money, the ticket was purchased. The player, no fault of its own. Who will pay back that money in an organization that consistently complains?
So then no money. Okay. That ticket money have to return. Somebody have to pay dearly. As Adams would say, you'll have to pay dearly. So Mannings, me get a page this morning, you know. I say, why the criticism? Why the criticism? But we have a conversation, and you know the thing. You see the person who call me, I get them for the show. We have a conversation.
Why they get them?
Here's my thing.
Go ahead, my brother.
When things go wrong, you see, if this was a one-off situation, there would not be any problems. One of the failures of the last campaign was this nonsense with the logistics. Players supposed to be here that are not here. Players opting out. Letters been sent late.
Players the on list, Mannings. You list and name out squad, and when the squad drop, and you hear for the show, this a man I missing, that the man in the this a man I never get called. All of them something that did happen a long time. And ticket a waste and a buy and them something, so who pay for them something for real?
Of them. I see, for example, there's something from Greg Lee where his club is basically said that he was in the squad and invitation was sent.
And accepted.
Statement accepted.
And accepted.
The team made plans to not be to not have the player. And nobody said anything to them.
Mannings.
The player.
Mannings not.
Huh?
No, that matter is going to go deeper, you know, because I remember saying the people, this is not like this is coming like Chaka Demus and Pliers, but it's coming like Monster Shaka, scare them or treat the hard way. We just have beat them bad. Mannings. Ipswich Town. My understanding is that Ipswich Town may be in big trouble with the English FA because they forwarded a request for the game against Barnsley, I think, to be postponed.
Yes.
Fact that they have three
international players
called up.
Yeah, man.
And it has now turned out that and so they might be facing a hefty fine and points deduction. So maybe there may be a massive lawsuit coming. The matter not a simple something where you come out of a meeting where you are listening to Ryan in your earpads instead of you listen to the meeting. For fly out like that girl, for come and deal with the matter. Coach and Mannings, my understanding is that matter with Greg Lee may have severe further implications because the invitation was communicated to the England FA, right? And the FA made some decisions which have commercial bearings, because I remember it was a televised game, you know, because them team they near the top of the playoff game, meaning they're in contention for the playoff. So there is commercial implications for rescheduling a game that was supposed to be televised.
All right,
Manins,
keeper,
you heard any such thing?
we have a caller on the line, and he has a lot of sound in the background. Caller, welcome to the show.
Yes, sorry, I drive, but I listen to the show. But I want to ask you guys a question. Who is the person responsible for the invitation they sent to the club? Is it the manager or the GenSec?
No, the general manager. Not the
The general manager.
Not
So
the
the general
Gen-Sec.
manager.
Yeah.
Okay, so general manager, if I get fired, guys, something we do a long time. Like we get rid of him too. You have to get rid of the bad apples. I mean, I've taken them out one by one. I tell the coach yesterday, you can't teach old dog new trick. Cause them up to the same thing. You understand me? So just get rid of the general manager now. And if the manager is up to the same trick, you get rid of him too. The only way you can change things is by cleaning house. If your house dirty, the only way you can get it clean and make it start work efficient is by cleaning it. So get rid of them too. Are they in a position where you can't fire them like they couldn't fire the GenSec? Do they get paid for in their position, or they do it for free or volunteer?
What kind of free man? Man? Come on, man.
No, so therefore, if we pay about the GFF, the money then for the plane ticket. Listen, people have a protest, and so this is foolishness. Or it's because he want Mr. Foster to be the backup goalkeeper. We don't know which club he's affiliated with. All them things I find out, because these are things that people do, sabotage things to make certain things happen where they want it to happen. Not saying that is it, but there's a talk. Believe me, man, this is foolishness. Foolishness. No, according to Cataract, they may get sued by Barnsley. How can you invite a man and then uninvite?
Not Barnsley,
Ipswich. No, not Barnsley, Ipswich.
How you can invite a man and uninvite him? That is foolishness.
You can't uninvite him.
You don't know if he was uninvited. You don't even know that. So
we don't know.
Well, him didn't make the squad, so I'm uninvited. You understand?
This is thing. Nobody knows what reason. We don't have a reason as to why the players. We don't know, but it's not injury.
Yeah. And according to Cataract, the club postponed them game because they was losing a couple of them players to international duty.
Right. The FA, the England FA, who oversees, it's called the EFL, sorry, the English Football League.
Yeah.
Postponed the game. And that game, I understand, was a televised game. So it has commercial implications, meaning they gave up the revenue for that game.
Right, and the sponsors lose them advertisement too.
And those things, yes, sir.
Yes, so the advertiser may want to sue the English FA, and the English FA will want to get back their money, they'll sue the GFF.
Yes, I wonder if we're going to have to sell another. I wonder if we have to sell another player like how we did have to sell Raheem Sterling.
Listen. You know something? What they need for though is get some six farmer from high school for run the GFF. Serious thing. Some people who pass them GCO level or GSAT, whatever them call it now, for run GFF, because them money are incompetent. Them terrible. Not because a man can have a football club that means he's a good manager. You understand me?
Yeah.
You cannot keep doing the same thing year after year and no consequence. Just imagine if you work for a company and year after year you cost them for a plane ticket. Then now get rid of you, man. But again, everybody, I back up everybody at GFF, because everybody get a little much. So that's how it goes. Anyway, I'm gonna go and listen.
Yeah, man. All right.
I mean, right now, my blood pressure. I'm gonna need this. You understand? But the money, I'm mad. The money, I need for that. Them she even run a account. Them she even run a patty shop, right? Because they embarrassed patty shop owner.
Demo. Yeah, thanks, caller. Thanks for the call as usual. Yeah, man. I appreciate you calling in. Demo, what say you on this matter? Because you were listening to it last night.
Yeah. So first of all, big up the panel, Cataract and Manningsman and coaches Def, and big up everybody in the comment section. So Manningsman, I don't know if you played the tape. I thought you'd play the tape because we like evidence. So but I don't know if you play the tape because my internet.
I'd rather somebody clip it to play the whole tape because everybody.
No, man, just specific parts. But anyway, so yeah, I was on that show. But before I was on that show, I heard just a rundown of the thing. First of all, when the squad was supposed to be announced, I heard, I don't know if you did see it, management, because I thought you were a part of the whole press conference. I don't know if I did in there. But apparently, they asked for the squad from Mr. Earl Bailey. And Earl
Yeah.
Bailey said he didn't have it.
The
And the
squad.
coach did ask for the squad or something like that. Something like that to
Yeah,
go
man.
down. Yes?
Yeah,
Yeah
yeah, yeah.
or
So the
no?
coach they asked the coach for the squad, and the coach said he didn't have the names, but he thought it was posted, so he said that it is
Yes.
on the chair. Right, and then as somebody would have given it to him, you could see that somebody passed it to him, and then he read out the names.
Mhm.
It to the
Okay,
board.
so we're I am assuming that those are the names that the coach wanted to come. Zim and all of them named, including the goalkeeper, whatever. So first of all, that was the whole mix-up thing. So when the squad was announced, all of that happened. Then we're hearing all of this stuff now with me the watch for Ryan team. First, they said for Trinidad, they said the club, which was Reading, said him could come because it's not a international window or whatever. And
Yes.
then after that, on the same thing, he's saying that the player refused because of
That
personal reasons. So
that
which
makes
one is it?
sense. All right, here's the thing, Demo. Why would a player opt to come and play a friendly game? You get
Exactly.
called to keep in the Azteca, and then you don't turn up. You decline. That don't make any sense. A player who came and played under 20, who came for a training camp,
Yes.
training to make an under 20 team, then turn down an invitation. Me I try
It,
to
it
tell
don't
you.
make no sense to
And,
me, right? And then
and Demo,
yeah, go
Demo,
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Demo, this was a player. This was the player who the England FA was calling on his way to the airport because he was in the England under 20 setup to say, no, go to Jamaica.
Wow.
And this is the one. Yes, he was the England international who was being called to come and that he would be a part of the England under 20 squad. Don't go to Jamaica. And him just put on a Beats headphone and go and listen to Cartel and lift up and reach a Jamaica. So, but Dima, what I'm saying
Yeah.
here, the invitation went to the club. The club rightly rejected the invitation because he was a first team player. So it meant that the manager did not know that Connor Boyce Clark is now a first team player at Reading.
No
He
man,
is,
Cranky, what happened? Let me tell you what happened. It was the goalkeeper coach and the coach who spoke to the player initially about the Trinidad game. The player
yes,
said, man, I'd be willing to come. They then asked the general manager to contact the club. Whenever it was sent off, they did not get back to the coach and the goalkeeper coach to say that the club said no so that the coaches could go and talk back to the player.
right,
All right.
Yeah, but
That
man is
right.
man, that's why I want you play the clip because he actually said he spoke to him. Royce said he spoke to him, a second time,
afterwards, after all right, so let me play it because
No man, Demo, not confuse the thing. He spoke to him about the Azteca game.
Yes.
About the Azteca game, not a second time about the Trinidad game, right? So it's no word gymnastics can work around here, right? It's a pastor,
Yeah,
selector, a top track coach, and a man where they are for it. To go
no,
yeah,
and
but
deal with.
hold on. Let me just drop it. Come on,
let
want to stay on, man, is man. Don't play it while I'm on, because me just want to say this and then me leave, because me there work, right? So like I say, when me da listen, all of that. So I wanted to just find out which one come first, because after the non-selection and he was replaced, that's Connor. Me see Reading a player under 21 semi-final and he was the goalkeeper. I'm like, what? So wait, did he reject the call for real for go play the under 21 semi-final? Because when I check on the Twitter, he was a starting goalkeeper yesterday. And I was like, no, this kind of crazy. So I never know if after the rejection of not coming or whatever. So that's another part to the thing when we did see yesterday, right?
So,
So
but
mm-hmm.
Demo, the match is on Sunday.
No man,
So
a
he could
match
have
play yesterday.
Hold on, man. The game versus Jamaica versus Mexico is on
Oh,
Sunday.
okay. Mm-hmm.
So he could have represented his club on the 21
And still come and play for
and
Jamaica.
still come to Jamaica. And on
Yeah.
Thursday we are playing.
Because remember, a ticket was purchased.
Yeah, well, that too. So I'm just saying, I just put out what we see because it was very strange that right after them replace him, but just go check the thing and see say he was the start.
So just I tell you, say that don't matter. No respect.
Carlton is here, but listen to this now. Hold on, let me see if we can get this thing working now. Hold on there. Me not hear what I'm going. Hold on. We are
I'm going to answer a question. Somebody's asking about why Johnson Clark Harris don't have his Jamaican. Listen, that one is a 50-50 matter. His name was one of the names that was left off of the letter that was supposed to be sent. Right? His name was a name that was left off the letter that was supposed to be sent to the England High Commission. He did get an appointment otherwise, like a regular appointment, and he missed the appointment. Right? So it's 50-50. It's not 100% GFF. But if his name was on the priority list, he could have gotten another appointment.
I mean, I'm not getting anything to play. Demo, you have got to clip that and send it to me. I'm not getting it to play, but it's all right. I think we can explain totally what it is.
Clip up. But aren't you, man?
Carlington, you had something to say.
Yeah, I was saying, so what's the big fuss about? Because
Carlington, you can't do that, man. You have to go listen to the. No, you
no,
can't.
I'm saying because I was listening to Ryan's show and
Yeah.
the guy said to Ryan, he sent the first letter to the club for the player for the Trinidad game, and they reject because they say it's not international, and he's gonna be the first team keeper because two of the keepers are injured or something like that. And then he said he sent a next letter, an email to the club again for the Mexico game. And he followed up with that and sent one more. And he said he contacted the player and he talked to the player. He said he and the player was in contact, plus the club, because he said follow up and send two.
So Carlington.
So I'm saying, he was saying to, no, I was just listening. I was just saying what I listened on the Ryan show. So he was saying to Ryan that it was not on their end, it was on the other end. So Ryan said, oh, you mean it was on the other end? He said, yes, it was not the JFF fault. So he was saying to Ryan, leave it until...
But Daddy Carlington, I don't want you to repeat something and give it credibility, brother. Where I tell you, say nothing no bust so. So the whole way you're doing, you know. So, but
when I said cataract, remember, you know, anything we're going to come with, if we're come up with something against them as JFF, remember, we're going to come with facts.
Bad man. Bad man. Show your sent message box then. Show your sent message box then, so we can see the date where you send the thing. Hold on, bad bro. I show where you. Remember, I tell you the same thing when it came to Zach Lovelace, you know. Show where your call log, where you call this player, the times where you say, because man, do you recall a week ago, I called you urgently in frustration about a matter. You know, I will put the business out on road. You remember?
Yeah, man.
And you said you are going to jump at it. A week, you know, we know say something no go so, brother. No, because you see we sit down, but we don't want to mash up the program. I'm a page Mannings jump on the matter right away. So the second time that he talk about is after Mannings would you know, doing the intervention.
Yeah, just know this, Carl. We don't want to because we don't want to say anything that could jeopardize our youth, because sometimes someone have a angle, you know. And we say, well, let me finish. Sometimes some people in life have the handle. And the players, unfortunately, have the blade.
And what happens when you say certain things, certain people have influence to keep you out of our system. But let me just say that a lot of this that is being said about the player, a lie. Plain and straight. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah, man, straight.
The sequence of events, a lie. And I saw it go. But we know that if we present certain information, if we show up certain people, the player go suffer. At the end of the day.
Remember, say call log of two ways. You have your call log and the man where you call. So we know
Guess
the
what?
time them. We know the time them. So call it that me I say to you, say, remember, you know, we are not detective, you know. But we are man in say, we are not fool.
I was saying we have to wait on the second show with him and Ryan because him
No,
and
we have to
Ryan
wait
will
for
come
your
through.
show.
No,
We have to
we're not saying wait
brother.
for him, but we want to hear, we want him to show the proof. As where you say, show proof, say you did do what you say you do. That means that we as a fans can say, all right, see the proof that.
Carlington, you believe him? You believe him?
No, not saying I believe him enough. But what we are saying, we're not go hold him until we get the final where they call it now. We get down to the details.
Carlington. The brother. Big brother.
Carlington, you have a Carlington, you have a big feedback in your
Oh, it was an email. It was an email coming.
You have a big feedback.
Yeah.
You sound like the people will get chopped. And I say, boy, them are weird. Pan.
Carlington, hold on the Keter. Carlington, you're feeding back. I don't know if you're playing the show in the background or something, but you're feeding back really, really bad. Go again. You gone now.
Carlington, Mr. to you say, you're sounding like when somebody get chopped and they must say, boy, they must wait to see if the check are going to come through the mail and then they must go know whether you get chopped.
Right.
The call we come to is not factual. The information we are telling you is not factual. A man there, so a different piece of thing where we have go on that.
All right, Carlington, I'm going to put up one on Keter. I'm going to put up a picture. All right, Coach Minzy, here's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
Right? Here's what I'm going to explain to Carlington, Coach Minzy. That this player played under 20 and came for a camp where the camp was to see if he could make the team. And he was released by his club. That's number one. All right? He came for a camp for that. All right. Number two, want you break this down to Carlington, that the player was willing to come and play in friendly game, and even suggested that he would have gone to the club and asked to be released. So, why would the same player find a reason,
a personal reason,
not to come for a game, official game with the senior team that he could be starting? Go ahead, Coach Minty. Let me show Carlington a picture.
That's true.
Let Coach Minzy go ahead and break it down. Because maybe we not break it down properly. Go ahead, Coach Minzy.
No, man, I understand you, man. I true, because if him going to come on a trial for the under 20 and the senior team going to call you now for the bigger thing, you're going to come. So, as what you say, you're right. Something between the line. Something between the line, as a cataract, I say something there between the line.
So Carlington, just call Mocha. No, yeah, they get chopped last night. So just call Mocha. Big man thing, big girl thing. Look here, Brethren, my advice to the manager of the team would be to just come clean. Throw yourself at the mercy of the fans because enough thing we know. Remember saying, you are at the center of the where can't I get the physio gate? Remember Mikel Antonio physio gate? Remember good no man Carlington? Remember good?
Yeah,
man. Remember good. So a long time you do this, brother. Long time you do this. And we have other proofs about other things and other players.
Tariq Magee stuck at the airport, sir, by himself, and come back to Jamaica.
Remember good no man.
You don't remember that, Colin? People forget
Yeah,
that.
man. Remember when Tyreek Maggie stuck at the airport? Yeah.
And came back to Jamaica.
Jamaica, yeah.
Okay. Oh, me just
That's
want,
true.
me just want to know, say.
Yeah, man. I
You
do
see
him
this?
reenaction of Tom Cruise
You see that
in the
picture? You see
terminal.
that picture, Carlington? You see the person in the white marina? A Kanaya Boys Clark. Let me see if I can bring it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, my son. I think I see. I did see this picture when them was here.
All right. So, you know, things say if you want to know what happened, we can find out.
That's true. True.
Let me tell you again.
Mannings, was that when careful, close that Mannings. Don't put up your business in the brother. Mannings, was that when you had to rescue them because they were unceremoniously deposited, kicked out of the place and no arrangement made for them to stay somewhere?
We now go with that. What?
Don't mean not go for it. The brother,
No, we not
call
go.
it, the youth them there, so. And when
No,
the camp break, everybody got in their yard. And the youth them have nowhere to go. Them have to go book one hotel for the North Coast. And management feed them.
We'll stick to this matter, Kata. We'll stick to this.
All right, brother. All right. Let's stick to it.
Let's stick to this matter because this is, all I'm saying to the people is that we must be careful because what was suggested last night is that it is the player, because here's the truth: the club cannot refuse, according to FIFA rules, a player for an international game. Those things don't happen again unless there is injury and they have to write and send official medical report. When you hear that, according to FIFA rules, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Reading cannot refuse to release a player for international duties. So, they can't blame the club, which is suggesting, in his comments last night, he's suggesting that it is the player who turned down the invitation. And that is unfair to the player.
Yeah, definitely. So him not take the blame.
Does it also have implications for Reading? Because if a player or the club, if a club declines invitation. Let me ask a question. If a club declines an invitation for a player and says the player is injured, is it not the rule that the player cannot play in the next match immediately following the international window?
Can't play. Cannot play. He cannot play. And we can get somebody right now to come and explain it. Remember, the club, I'll give you, this is a good one. When Amari Bell was invited, the club requested that he was coming from injury, and if he could miss the window, they were requesting that he miss the window for rest. So when I came out, remember I came out and said that he was not coming because the club said that. Amari Bell, having done tests and realized he was going in the starting, it was Amari Bell who said, no, I am going to play. And I'm going to say it again. The player said he wanted to come and play for Jamaica against Trinidad. Why would he, having played under 20, wanting to come and play against Trinidad, then opt not to come and play? Here is why. When you have even Dexter, who they are friends in the team.
Tyler. Delano Splat. Remember say all of them they're upon the juggling, The only player we left out is Jamari. And Jamari is a first team player. Right? Remember good, no man. Remember good. Somebody not buy no unicorn the morning, yeah.
I doubt he's going to come on the show.
Who can come on the show?
No, I doubt he's going to go back on the show. I don't
But
think he's going.
what we are said to Ryan? We are said to Ryan, should such man be brave and forward on the show? Don't try to take it on alone. Just send for the A team. Make a whole away rush it. Mannings.
Yeah, can't
Coach
tire
is
no
there.
easy. You know?
Yeah,
I
and
think
broach
all of
him.
the YouTubers, will follow up the
Res-
football. You,
respectfully.
Owen and man. I think we need to keep a meeting with the JFF. You know.
No, man, we're not a
Definitely.
meeting, man. It's on a
Yeah, man.
meeting, brother.
Them need for hear we grow
No,
by.
man,
We
this on
need
a
to say
private
all of
meeting,
them.
brother.
Not
When I
just
sit,
because
when I sit
remember,
down,
you know, when
when I
Mr.
sit down
Chan
behind a
come,
closed door.
when Mr. Chan come on the show, we realize this man is an honest man. He will take him beaten, he will accept him wrong, and he will tell us, say, yes, me wrong and me go try. Them the rest of them now come, you understand? And we need to see them, we need to see all of them.
So like you get chopped
Alright,
again.
give me a second there, please, because like I
Demo.
said, I'm not stay.
Why Demon? Then we have
So
T God.
my internet did just cut off, so that's why I don't know which part you hear last or whatever.
Yeah, man. Go ahead. Finish
But
up
you
what you
get
said.
the thing them I'm saying you? You get the thing them manage, man?
Oh yeah. Yes, send me. Yeah.
Alright, you can play it after me leave. But my thing is the last thing I'm there to say. I know say una go wait for big up yourself, Ryan LFC. Ready for the boxing match. Big up yourself, my man. But the
Boy,
final
I
thing I
don't know if
want
it's
to
a
say is
boxing box yet, you know, brother. I don't know, but we'll see. We're
yeah,
going to let you know later when the show comes.
talk about it after we say this, because I jump off. The last thing I say is man. I know say una wait for Roy Simpson, Ryan big interview and all of this stuff. But me no, Zine, I'm gonna live in a 1989 or way back in the days 1940s. So me personally, I'm gonna inbox the man for Instagram. I'm gonna ask him exactly what go on. I say, Connor, I'm a big fan, brother. I'm just really want to find out what was the lowdown. So I might not fuck myself and I really care, but I now wait for no interview. I ask the man directly. So if we get the answer, you guys will be the first to know. All right? Big up on yourself.
But Demo, how you going like we not credible, brother?
We can
No,
get
I'm
you.
not credible.
Go on the thing, Demon. Go on the
Yeah,
thing.
me just want to see it for myself, boss. I just so much see it. But
Big up,
man,
Demon.
man will appreciate this. Blessed
Yeah,
are
man.
those who have not seen but have believed. Seen? So big up for the
All right,
Demo,
Demon.
don't do with that, Demo. Don't do
All
with
right,
that,
Ryan.
Demo.
You know, Ryan they work as well, so and T got the work. So I want to hear from both of them.
Yeah, morning, gentlemen. Morning to everybody down in the comment section. Morning, the panelists. I really appreciate the support this morning. Trust me, I haven't feel the support for so long. Meaning by so much people, you know what I mean? So I really do appreciate it. So, but next week Wednesday we schedule an interview. But people are telling me God Almighty, I'm not 100% sure. Okay. After that, last night we get some message the way and a pretty message and things. So I'm not gonna kill it yet, but hopefully it tight up. So I'm gonna make a few calls this morning after when we go for lunch break and let you know if we're going to continue. But my building the graphic and everything for the interview call. A long time I want somebody from the JFF sit in front of me when me talk. You understand? And also, I'm gonna invite the man them. So if the man them want to forward, gonna forward. You understand? So if the man them want to come on, they come back. You understand? But listen, man is we all know what went down with it. And realize it. I start to watch back my interview when I interview no anybody from the JFF. One of the things what them always do is anytime them do something wrong, them always attack over. If you listen to the interview good last night, every time we talk, Rice him say about it. So me I say, me make you talk, but you not give me an opportunity for talk. You understand? In internet, in service road, in and out, back and forth. Him say me not meet it and
Ryan service in and out. T got where?
No, look like Ryan supervisor snatch your brother.
Morning, everybody. Cataract coaches deck. Morning, my
Big
Virgin
up to you,
Craft.
God.
Big up one. I'm so
I'm so glad about the platform that we guys have. I don't know if JFF think we're living in the 70s where you have only a CVM and TVJ and they can't say anything and there is no follow up. There is no
CVM never
accountability.
they run at the 70s still.
Whatever,
Our TVJ.
accountability. And what what is happening right now? What is happening right now? They just feel like they can say something. It's not in the space, and we can bring it up and bring it back to their remembrance. They can just say anything. You understand? They can say anything and just fly over it. What is happening in the JFF is people being recycled. You understand? They move them from one position, put them in one position, and everybody thinks it's different thing. No, it's not different. It's the same thing going over and over and over again. This is why I said when the Jamaican team had the privilege to not play the field. Remember the game where they were about to strike and they said them now up on the field and Jamaica and get banned. And I was one of the ones that said, yeah, make Jamaica get banned for 10 years. So make we can start the football program. Them say he got a idiot and then what we say. You understand? We dropped that opportunity, we dropped that ball. You understand? And that this is what's happening to us now. You understand? This is what's happening to us right about now. All right. No, I like what Ryan is doing, but sometimes Ryan is unprepared. You understand? That's why he got cornered yesterday. You understand? He don't have these facts. Like if coach I'm gonna do something, coach has some facts. Catholic always has some facts, man in always has some facts. Ryan come on the show, he might have a little thing, but he's not prepared factually. So in them corner him have like, equipment to deal with them. So he was not prepared with everything because even when I'm asking, tell me an incident when they mess up. He couldn't even remember one incident that they messed up. You understand? So I say, look at that. You know, he was just unprepared for that situation. You understand?
Maybe he wasn't expecting Rice Simpson to call the show.
That's what I'm saying. But but if you're going to do a show, you have to prepare for the show. You have to prepare for the show. Even if the person that calls.
You got why last Rice Simpson?
That is true. No, that is true.
Virgin, Rice Simpson, somebody women know, you know. See,
yeah, but the thing
have
about
interaction with them man, they not like me there, you know.
Yeah, but
so
no.
Obviously, as somebody, as him say, as somebody send him the link.
Mm-hmm. No, but
so
right.
him able to come on the show.
Yeah, but me not talk about that. But you're doing a show pertaining to that. Then Rice Simpson.
But I have to correct you there, T-God. When him asked Ryan for side incident, Ryan cited the Mikel Antonio and the Bobby Reeves. Right.
Yeah, and the
so
Bobby
him have him information. Right. So I'm not agree with you on that.
All right. For this one, for the big one that he's proposing with Dennis Strong, you understand? I feel like he should get
Dennis
some.
Strong. He's not with Dennis Strong. Is it Rice Simpson?
Yeah, right. Dennis Strong was on it, right? Dennis Strong, me in the last part that said the big showdown and boxing match.
No, man, the big showdown. Maybe I slip at the lip, but the big showdown will be Rice Simpson coming on to the show.
All right. So what he should do, he should gather some man, coaches, Dex, management, Cataract, come together. You guys have a little meeting. We feel confident in talking.
What if Rice Simpson said that is Ryan he want to talk to?
All right. If it's
Ryan, but Ryan just invite all of us. All of us can come.
Everybody to come together. Everybody
said that.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying everybody need to come together.
Hey, listen. Me want Rice Simpson to come for real now, but me I tell you, Manning's probably know. If he come, me I gonna lift my hats off to him.
So let me tell you something. And Ryan, if you listen, me I tell you something. The man in my day with you like SSL. By the time next week Wednesday, the whole of the paperwork done gone in the shredder. Yeah. The whole of paperwork done in the shredder. Because this is a matter that should deal with today, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Today.
Right.
Right. It is inimical to our future. Now me I touch my little wooden table, right? If we go to Mexico and the game we are leading 1-0 in the 89th minute, and then 2 goalkeeping errors happen in the 90th and 91st minute, and we get knocked out. And we feel that Kanaya Boyce Clark could have made those simple saves. What am I going to tell me next week, Wednesday?
Yeah.
The next week, Wednesday, I want to hear about, bro.
Let me say this, right? The actual rule, I think Coach Boris Johnson said it is that a club can refuse. But if they do, the player cannot play a game during that window. And they also will miss the next game coming out of the window. So it's always important to check to see if the player play, because then they could lose points for the game. Other teams could appeal it. All right?
No, but man, that's not correct, because there's no games played during an international window. Meaning there's no games in the top tier leagues.
Right. It is a window right after that. It would be
right after that, yeah.
All right. But Demo is insisting that I play the tape from last night, right? So let me see if I can play it.
When I hear it.
That one is gone. It's gone.
Loud Entertainment has a question. The next game is supposed to be the Guatemala game in New York.
That postponed. That postponed.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, that what the coach said.
The coach said it postponed.
I'm disappointed because man was supposed to come.
You guys not hearing the clip?
No, Mannings.
All right, so
that match is postponed. The coach said. I don't know if it was the slip of the tongue, but he said softly. You understand? He said it softly that the Guatemala game is postponed.
No, the Guatemala game is off.
Yes.
Guatemala game is off.
I know said Nico mash up my life, but boy JFF yeah mash up my life. Big up the Dolly Deb in New York. We're not going to forward.
So I mean, where do we go from here? Like, how do we? Because at the end of the day, what is the solution to this continued?
You see, Mannings. I think people are supposed to be held accountable for these actions that have continuously taken place in the federation. So if there's a new new CEO, him have to do something. I am not gonna be, or never gonna be, a one advocating for somebody to lose their job. So whether it's demotion or whatever, something have to be done. You understand? Because it can't be a case where things like these keep happening and everybody let off the chain. I see something start with the under 17 debacle took place and something take place, and that wants it going forward. People are supposed to be held accountable for their action, because it is gonna be a turn off to the ballers them that are actually wanting to play for the nation. It are gonna turn them off to see these unprofessional behavior. Right now, as me said the other night, are the coach and the baller them I support right now,
Coach Benzi, what action was taken for the under 17 debacle?
The manager was dismissed.
No, he's not.
Yeah, well,
he might finish up him tenor, Qatar.
Yeah, which is the 31st.
Hold on. If your contract comes to an end and I don't re-sign your contract, that's not an action.
Yeah,
that is just
but he's not functioning at the offices. He's just been paid up so they can still
No, sir. I went to the Jamaica Football Federation offices at 11 a.m. on Monday for the press conference, and such manager was there working, gathering equipment, getting a bus ready to go to Montego Bay, sir. I saw that with my eyes, sir.
Okay. All right then, boss.
But I have a suggestion, though. I have a suggestion.
Hold on. We have a caller, Cataract. So
Caller, important.
yeah. Go ahead, Narson.
Morning, Cream Team. Morning.
Pick
I
up
had to
yourself
call in.
first, responder.
Yeah, my respect. You know what? It me feel so low, and I'm not a prospective footballer. I wonder how them really feel though. You know, because another incident, this is trauma. This is traumatic for me, you know. And I'm hold on, let me get rid of this. Um, for the head coach, I think this has daunting implications, you know, because it made me want to know if he, you know, there was a time when Paul Hall was taking over the team, and a lot of people they were saying like he should not come and work with the staff that was there before under Tapa. He should really come in with his own team, you know, so that he can chart his own course. Now, I like Dennis Strong. But since Dennis Strong came in, him do the same thing that Paul Hall do. Him have the same staffing that wasn't doing a good job before. And I was listening to Tracy's program a long time ago, and he made a comment one day that Mr. Ricketts, Dalton Wint is gonna be the death of you. You know, you need to get rid of the JFF has not fired. I shouldn't say the JFF. Mr. Chung hasn't fired anybody to put in a better person, and if the team didn't strike, Dalton Wint would still be the general secretary. You know, it's just not looking good for Mr. Chung if these things keep popping up. Because and for the coach, like Cataract said, before he said it, I was even thinking about it. If they were identifying another CDM that could have possibly made the team better, because you didn't give John Russell much accolade yesterday when I was listening to you guys based on scouting reports. And if he plays and don't do well, because he will play, then and it made me wonder. Now that you would say that there's evidence. Will Dennis Strong, who was always saying, if I have the evidence, then I'll act on it. Is this one of the incidents that you could say, Mr. Chung, here is the evidence? And also, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we're listening to you now.
Yeah. Also, there was a guy who got fired recently, an aspiring manager, because he made a mistake. He made an error. Now comparing this, which is a pivotal game, and a game that the coach really need, you know, to put a feather in his cap, and a game that Jamaica really need to go forward to even get a half chance of getting a trophy. Is these errors greater than, well, obviously these errors are greater than the error that the manager who was fired a couple of weeks ago had. So what's your take on it with one error compared to the next error?
All right.
I mean,
all right, Nathan, just listen and let Coach Minzy Cataract and T-Got give an
yes,
answer.
please.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm here a drop out now because me depressed.
Aren't you bald?
All of us, me depressed, man.
Hold on. Aren't you bald?
Me start bald since me start listen to you, son. Just like you.
No, you hear say here a drop out and you hear you're bald. So I don't understand what
Yeah, I'm balding both ways. Both, no pun intended. I'm balding.
No.
and balling.
The man have no ear for the man, and the man say here and drop out.
I
All
mean,
right,
yeah,
all
man.
right,
Yeah, man.
all right. First responder. We hear from
All
Coach
right,
Win.
cool.
Coach Win.
First one that's the here at Jaffo. And it's a shining man.
It's a shining, but the man have no ear.
Man, turn up your volume, please, bro.
But I tell you, he makes some good points, very good points, because I have been saying it from yesterday in the mornings. I say it on your show, I say it on my show yesterday as well. The man them have a book. Hear what them do, mornings. The man then wrap the book and get some nice wrappings so that the cover of the book looks so wonderful. But man, just when they open the book, Tiga, just when they open the book, Cataract, just when they open the book, viewers and subscribers, when they open the book, page tear out, page missing, page tear off, one piece side tear off. It's like he did in a mud, like piece side burn off, or peer them something in a book.
But
coach,
so you want a new book? We don't want a wrapping paper for wrap a book.
Coach, that is what they're doing. It's the same.
So they same exactly. So now that Norton I say first responder I say man.
Yeah man, I see a book and I put a wrapping paper.
So the wrapping paper I trick the people as someone in the comment section say a 6 and 9 or them a sell with unicorn as the great Sir P would have said.
But you see the wrapping paper what they use, them I use, coach. The wrapping paper are from the back of the book when nobody never used to see. You know, I remember put it on the front page and then things say you knew. But that same wrapping paper the inner the book. But them just put him on the front page.
Then that way I talk about man. Because the page did kinda alright, you know. Kinda.
Yes, but him there on the back.
The page never have no infraction yet, you know. So
yes.
I tear out the page, you know, come wrap the book with you know.
Yes.
I'm not telling you what I go on.
True, man. True.
And that go on and the book page look nice. But when you open the book, you know what? That can't go in front of the teacher. That not ready. As the man then said, dog ears, all sort of sitting tear up. Page missing, people cut off a piece of a page because nobody see that. I appear things.
Jerome 876 said the book of Tapper was here. Aye, so I really a book rental system in my run, like when they are school still. But Marins, you ask an important question as to what we can do here, because let me tell you what this does though. This affects the psyche of the fans. Instead of us building up to the game and getting an energy and a vibe, we there talk about waste man GFF. Instead of we ask somebody how the training went yesterday, how things look. Our brethren here, we love come on with the start of the level boss. You know,
Dima boss.
You understand? We're not talking about the game. We're not reason about the Mexican team. You know, because we're there on the eve now, you know, of Mexico versus hold on. We're there on the eve of Mexico versus Suriname. We don't even reason about that game there.
Peter, we have to hang up.
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Too much noise at the background,
I'm here.
man. It'll mash up my head.
Oh, my noise? Really?
Yeah, man. Like you're dropping something or closing a door. All right, go ahead, Keter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I closed the door. Yeah.
But I say, man, we're not even talking about the Suriname-Mexico game tomorrow. And a little preview of it and what the expectations and implications. But we are talking about some waste, man, some dirty, man. So that they might divert the mind of the fans.
We can't refer to the people them as that way they still. You understand me?
No, but these actions are dirty, man.
Yeah, we can say the actions. We can say the actions.
These actions are
Yeah,
dirty tricks.
you
These
can't.
are what you call in war games some dirty tricks thing. You play that dirty war, you drop a
Yeah,
dirty
so
bomb.
we can use those terms, but we still have to remain. We still have to remain. We have to operate
Okay,
with
sir.
some level of decorum. You
These
understand?
unprofessional men,
Yeah, cause
these
yeah,
incapable hombres.
yeah. We can't say that they're unprofessional and then we speak in an unprofessional way.
I can say it in Spanish.
I don't, brother. Don't joke with it. Peter, you're on the line.
Yeah,
What say you? Go ahead.
yeah, they are incompetent and inept. All right, that's the JFF. But greetings to everybody, all your callers and viewers and panelists and yourself. I have something that is bothering me that I'm going to say to you guys, and I want to hear how you feel about it, or all of you feel about it. And before I say it, I'm not. I always have said this. I'm not a defender of the JFF. Anybody know me and hear me calling? I do not like how the JFF operate. I think they're very inept. All right. Before I say that, let me say this. I was a young man in Jamaica back in the 80s. Leave high school and got my first job at income tax department. I was fired because I was tardy. Since then, I've had my next job was at NCB, where I worked for 7 years before I migrated here to the States. And I've been in the workforce here probably about 30 years. I've never been tardy at a job after that. My whole point is if there's no consequence,
Yeah.
if there's no accountability, the same behavior will continue. Thank God I was a young man at the time to learn my lesson the hard way because now I have a family, I have all kinds of responsibilities. But had I not been fired, I would not have learned my lesson. Or if I never have any consequences, I would not have learned my lesson. I would continue being tardy throughout my life. All right? So this is part of the problem with the JFA. All right. Now, the problem I have this is we're dealing with a timeline. And my question is, all right, let me go back to a little leadership thing too. Good leadership, I'm not going to dwell on it, but part of being a good leader is also building relationship. The late Captain Horace Burrell had the ability to build relationships. He had relationship with the clubs where the Jamaican internationals were. He had relationship with the English FA, right? I said this yesterday on Coach's Desk. Our leader, Mr. Ricketts, is too silent. I don't know what he's doing. He just seemed to be a figurehead. Does he build relationship with these clubs? Does the GenSec build relationships with these clubs? I don't know. All right. But it seemed like they don't do any of that. So to get to my point now, we don't know the time that the club got the information, but it sounds like they got it. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, man, you're
They
right.
got it.
Yeah. All right. So, in other words, I have known back in the past that there have been times, and this was in the Captain Borrell's tenure, where clubs would probably not have received the information. I'm no way absolving the JFF, just make that clear. But the club, maybe because of the relationship and the charisma that Captain Borrell has, they could talk to the club management and basically the club would release the player. Now, what if Jamaica was a Uruguay, or Argentina, Brazil, or Mexico, or Canada, or US? Would this same club management refuse to release the player simply because something was late?
No, let me say this.
And that's
Sorry, Peter, let me interject and say this. Of all the clubs, I believe, would have given Jamaica a problem, even if the letter was late, I don't think it would be ready.
Okay.
Like I said, remember we had Garrett McCleary, who was here. Adrian Mariappa played for Reading. Joby McAnuff,
Right.
captain Reading. All right. There is
Was it the same management? Is it the same management today as
it
back then when McLaren
all
played
right.
and
You have to understand, like Joby McAnuff was a captain. It don't matter who the management is. This is a former captain. These guys still carry clout in these organizations.
And they
I feel as if
they released 2 players to us for the under 20, Jamari Clark and Connor Boyce Clark.
The said goalkeeper in question.
Said goalkeeper in question.
Was released while they were playing tournament.
Yes.
Come for the trials.
Yes.
so. We need to find out what kind of timeline we're dealing with. Because
No,
if
sir.
it's
No,
14
sir.
years, I need to get it. Huh?
No caller. I listened to you carefully on coach's desk last night. There'll be no pretty up. We don't need no timeline. We know the facts. And we have tried to give you the facts as best as possible without exposing our sources.
Respectfully, Cataract. Yesterday on Manningsman program, Manningsman said that they were tardy in contacting other clubs and is the agent of those players that had a conversation with the clubs to release those players. Manningsman, if I'm quoting you wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those
so
players they're not from
Cataract.
England, but they're from in Europe, though.
All right. Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about. If an email don't arrive on time, what is the reason why the club can't release the player still and let him go on international duty and do him instead of doing him a disfavor for him not to come represent his country? Because an email a day short or 2 days short? That's my question. So we're dealing with a timeline, and I would like to know what that time.
You know what? Funny, Carl. Cataract, let me just say this. Remember what I said, which is true, is that it was the agent and the club who dialogue for the player. In Mr. Simpson's conversation, I didn't hear him mention the player's agent. He spoke directly with the player, because sometimes having a relationship with the player's agent
Make things smoother, you know.
Exactly, because
it
is in the agent's
You know,
favor.
that me a sober dream. That's in essence what I'm saying. Maybe it's not even so much a tardiness, you know. It probably is more of a relationship building.
Brethren, the document went in late.
Yeah, man.
Mannings, I use some pretty word.
Because remember now, if the document had gone in early, remember the rule is, even if you keep the player gonna miss games.
So you know, make no sense to keep the player.
It don't make any sense.
Exactly. That's why they have to release the player.
Sense. So the fact that the club refused to release the player is suggesting that it came late because they have grounds not to. Now, if the JFF or the team manager was in dialogue with that player's agent, the agent and the player could have spoken to the club and to say, listen, we really want him to go, something of that sort, which is the case with the other players, because those players, when the agent basically went ahead of the JFF and said to the club, I know you have not received any dialogue yet, any arrangement, but I know my players are going to be called up. Because the agent works with getting players to that. You understand me? Because if I'm getting players to your club, you also have a relationship with me. So if you don't want to release, yeah, go ahead.
So maybe we need a relationship with the agent. I mean, we don't have any.
Are the federation to have that relationship, The federation, hold on, Cataract. Yeah, the federation should have. The federation should have dialogue with the agent. You can send the player the email, but don't bypass the agent. And sometimes when that happens, the agent now go bat for the player because initially you leave me out. Sometimes. I'm not going to say all the time.
Coach, this you make the man say you don't want rabbit hole, bad man. Caller, please, 1 second. Caller. You send the man them don't want rabbit hole.
No, I'm not sending no rabbit hole.
Hold on, man. Let me
dialogue with another club.
Peter,
Yeah.
Peter, he has been.
Yeah.
You have to give him at least because it's 10 minutes. So just give him a chance to respond, please. And
All
then,
right. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Right.
Let's do it. Wait, thank you.
A,
Go ahead.
what is a release, Peter? A release
Hmm?
is a request to be released from your contractual arrangements with the club for a specified period of time, come under your arrangement with your national team. So it's not a permission, it's a release from the contract that they have. So that if, for example, you are injured while on international duty, you are still covered by the insurance of your club, right? These things have legal implications. It's not a man a call up a man to reason. So no agent can release no player. However, there's a thing called CC, carbon copy. So when you request from the club a release from a player,
But Catara, nobody said the agent are gonna release the player. No,
no, I'm not
we have to
saying that, man.
clarify that.
I'm
Okay,
explaining
okay.
something about what a release means because I don't think people understand what the term, because I use the term loosely. It is a release from your contractual obligations with the club for a specific period of time, which might be a week or a few days. And the release may have some conditions to it. So, for example, if you have 2 games, the club may request that even though I'm releasing the player, maybe because them have a match on the Friday and the window end the Wednesday, we're asking if they don't play the full 90 minutes for the second game because we need them to play the first game. So there needs to be a relationship with the agent from the very beginning, because it's the agent that you should speak to when you are looking to engage a player to come and represent Jamaica. So that should be a long-standing relationship from the start of the process.
Then no,
That's
that
my
me
point.
I say, brethren. And that me I say, no. Where is the relationship building? Captain Borrell did it in
All
his
right, but
tenure.
but you know what? Somebody just brought up. This was your part of the interview, Coach. You the track and field. Hold on, let me just cause guess what? Yo, I want me I run late, you know. You have show later, Coach, or I go back track and field.
Me do track and field last night, man.
You never talk about no football.
Yeah, man, me do an early football show, man.
Oh, you have got to do a early football show and keep the people them, cause right now Peter me also have to run, you know. So me have a run.
Yeah, mama,
Hold on,
mama,
me have
just
a
say
run
this real
five. Me
quick.
have around 7 minutes. Hold on, let me just read this.
Yeah, mom, now come on.
Because Rice Simpson actually said this, you know, that they have a relationship with Reading in it and Ryan show last night. So you see this? Yo, anyways, go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
My thing is, when I call these, I mean, I criticize them, but I'm also trying to look for solutions. And going forward, this can be a solution in building relationships with the clubs that have Jamaican internationals. And we should know this from being in the business so long, especially when Captain Boyer was around, because he was good at that. And maybe Michael Ricketts need to come out and share wherever he is and try do some of that. So that's all I have to say, because this obviously this it's going to happen again, you know, if we don't fix it, you know. It's going to happen again, and it's really unfortunate and it's sad. So that's all I have to say, brethren. Give thanks. I will continue listening. Respect.
So, man, I know your time short, so I'm going to make my ending comment and tell you this.
Yeah, go ahead. And
I
then
read an article yesterday that says if Ivan Toney touches the field for England, Peterborough and his original Peterborough will be entitled to £1 million payout, and his original club from lower down in the league will be entitled to a payout of £250,000 because he is now an international player.
By whom? By whom?
Brentford.
Brentford will pay out that
have to
money.
make the payment, yes.
Okay.
Because when they sold him, he was just sold as a regular player, right? When he become an international, some grassroots payments kick in, right? When players become internationals, it has an implication financially for clubs. So clubs don't fight against a man becoming an international because it means something on their bottom line, And even the clubs who, I didn't know this before, who are way down the line and develop you, them get a little money. And believe you me, £250,000 to a League Two club and £50,000 to a non-league, because remember them man they come from non-league football, right? Is like a windfall in their sustainability. So I don't believe clubs just, particularly at that level, just willy-nilly decline players from international caps. And remember, this would be Boyce Clark's first senior international cap. Competitive. Respect.
All right. T-Gut.
Yes, sir.
T-Gut, you're not listening. Coach, listen, tell T-Gut.
All right, let me use my minute wisely.
Use a minute.
Hey, people, I will say this, that to ensure that this doesn't occur again, some amount of accountability action has to be taken. And it has to be taken speedily, swiftly, so that things like these don't happen. And it doesn't, you see, sometimes ego will tell you that, yo, I can't go to the public and look like a fool. But if we can just put aside the ego and just say, yo, me make a mistake, you know, how me I go fix it? You understand? Rather than still sitting on a high and trying to be like everything is alright. So I would say this thing needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed now. That's all I have to say. Big up all the viewers and subscribers.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Coach Minzy. All right, T-Gut.
Yeah, man. All right. So what I have to say is that this thing keep on happening over and over and over and over. And we, the vloggers, are the one keep pointing it out. You understand? Why is this happening? Why is this? It happened 2 years ago. It happened 3 years ago. Why is it happening? Why is it happening? As what coach said, there's no accountability. Nobody now said sorry. Nobody now say, yeah, I'm the one that messed up. Nobody not doing it. They're bigger than the public. They're bigger than the fans to explain to us and to tell us what is happening. You understand? And it just need to stop. You understand? We're not trying to tear down the JFF. We're not trying to do nothing. We want to see the football go further. We want to see the youths develop, making money for their family, putting Jamaica on top. Just like how track and field do it, just like how boxing used to do it, just like how other sports do it. We want the football to be on top, because we know we have players that can bring the football on top. But if administration is not doing their job, you understand? It's somebody that tries to sabotage somebody. It just needs to stop. It don't look good. It don't look good for the fans. And whatever they're doing, it out in the space is not in the 70s. You understand? We, the vloggers, ordinary people, can pick up a phone, we can retrack, and we can find out what is missing. So the JFF just need to, you're not dealing with people in the Stone Age anymore. You understand? Just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. That's all.
All right, thank you, T-Gut. And let me. This is a very important personal example I'm going to use. Very, very, very to because again, I'm not going to advocate for this and that and what consequences for people. Judge not, lest you also be judged. Because the same measure you judge a man with is the same way you are going to be judged. And when you judge people severely, you'll be judged severely. So I'm going to use a personal example of how I was judged. All right. So very good friend of mine gave me the opportunity yesterday to coach a particular age group of kids. All right. So I didn't know the quality of the kids, the capabilities, the build of them, because it's the first time I'm going to be working with them. All right. Didn't know the situation or the environment. So started out the session. Based on some of the stuff I do with fitness and technical work, and to transition them from one phase to the other, to the other, to the other. All right, session going on, but again, I didn't know the abilities, so it took a while for some of them to get into what I was doing. So I was trying to, okay, they're not getting it, let's change it. All right. And I changed it to something else. They were doing that, and I made adjustments because it took them a while to kind of get what I was trying to bring across. All right. Anyways, the session, the first session didn't go so good. So I had a session with a next set, and I made adjustments. And that worked a whole lot better. A whole lot better. What is the point I'm making? So for the first session, my friend said to me, listen, if I were your instructor, meaning if I were doing a license and they were the instructor, they would fail me. All right. Not because I don't know what I was doing, and not because I can't do it, but the results were not being arrived at. What happened? So, because some of the kids weren't getting this thing, I changed it and never gave some of them an opportunity to do it. All right. So it was really about, you could have done it better, and here's what you could have done. Here's what I want to bring up out of that. It's not that I think Mr. Simpson can't read and write and don't have intelligence. He communicates at a high level. And at times, we have to stop and think, okay, this has not worked. How are we going to do it better? For me, I think this is the constant failure of the Federation. They always look out the window. They're always looking for people and things to blame. They're always looking out the window for things and people to blame. And until they can look in the mirror, even when they have come publicly and say that we haven't gotten many things right, they still don't do things better. You have to, for the rest of this year, stop blaming vloggers. They are the least of your problems. Stop blaming fans. They are the least of your problems. You have been in this for 15 years. And every year we can find an issue where this same thing is concerned. Stop looking out the window. Sit down. And if you can't do it, please. You see, when I have problems at my home, my wife always wants me to do stuff. And I say to her, dear, me not even going to try, because I'm not good in doing that. Me not in no fixing no leak. I pay a plumber so it is done well. Here is why. You see, if I do it and the leak get worse, then she gonna say me no know what me I do. So I get people who can do it. I run an organization and I'm not there. And I'm telling you, they had a big problem on Sunday. And they fixed it. Because I also ensure that as I grow, they grow. And if you're not growing, you have to get going. So go ahead, Cataract. That was the last.
I just have two quick things for when we speak again next. One, if anybody book up the general secretary, can he ask him if annual performance evaluations are conducted for the members of the JFF staff? If annual performance evaluations are conducted, and if yes, if whether in those evaluations, he can't tell you what the evaluation of Mr. Mann was, because that is private. But if whether gaps and areas of weaknesses were pointed out, and whether those were fixed in the year coming. And last but not least, Mannings, when you book a coach, and why this is very annoying to me, doesn't this mess up the coach's cap tie strategy? So, for example, Boyce Clark could have earned his first cap today and just need 2 more caps to be fully cap tied to Jamaica. Sunday, been earn it on Sunday. Now we'll have to wait for another competitive window for such a thing to happen. And this throws the coach's long-term planning. So maybe he would have wanted to tie up Boyce Clark as a Jamaican international. And
hey, Cataract, you know, easy, you know. We give you time to wrap up the show. Me and do me wrap, and you take back the show and go.
I got it.
You go for the next thing, brother. It's one easy, you know. It one easy. Let me tell you what, we wrap up the show, come we have to leave. Me give the man 2 minutes to the people. Me and do me wrap up. He said, man, I want to say 2 things. And Cataract gone 10. Cataract, hurry up now, man. Ciao,
No,
man.
man, it done, man. But drop it all up, man. But drop it all up, man. Respect people. But I don't want to forget that cap tie business. Because this is not just an innocent mistake that don't affect anybody. It's not a white collar crime. It affects the program.
Yeah, man. Bless up yourself. Jason Good, yeah, man can't help himself for real. You understand? Coach Minzy, bless up. T-God. You know, bless up. People, Coach Minzy, you have to do something early.
Yeah, man, big up.
Coach Minzy, you have to continue this discussion, brother, because it's a lot more. You know, you get no feedback from out in the West yet? Because we can probably make a call so you can get some feedback what's going on.
No, sir, me not hear what going. All me know is that Trivante and Lambert birthday today. So big them up.
Big up Trevante Stewart and Kevin Lambert. All right, we'll see if we can connect you with somebody to get some info on what's going on down there so you can run. Yeah, man. All right. So, people, big up on yourself. Thanks again for being a part of the show. I am Manningsman. Want to say, check out Ryan LFC, the coach's desk. You understand me? They were on the show today. Sports down the middle with T-God. All right. Yeah, I am Manningsman. You know, Unseen was in the building as well. Bless up yourself to all the females who are part of it. Really, Treasure Coast Masters, I see you in the place. Big up yourself, you know, every time. To all the persons. Every single one of you. Lots of love, lots of respect to all the moderators. Thank you for manning the comment section for all the persons who call in. You have a blessed day. Manningsman, this has been I Am Sure Sports. And as usual, when it gets to this point of the show, we say we are over and we are O-U-T out of here.
Yo, watch your bad dog, SK New Erdis, the body out there, Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Orchard Race, Galtigo Bay, everywhere. I Am Sure Sports, check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like, yeah, someone on for the food from young, from we day you need height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.